Hello.
Hi, Partho.
Kunal. We are going to focus once more on AI, and the one subject that's, I think, becoming more and more of a general concern, and also of particular interest to a lot of people in a lot of spheres of life and activity. I know a whole lot of people in education and schooling. A lot of my friends in the IT sector who are very genuinely asking questions on AI and its possible impact on their work, on the industry and society. So it seems a lot more people are asking these kinds of questions and having discussions. And I've personally also been party to some of these discussions and some of these groups which have been wanting to understand. And somewhere I feel that not enough serious discussions are being done in this matter. Not too many well-informed groups, and the experts who know, they don't really talk to everyone. So there's a need to clear the air and bring in a perspective, perhaps. So, Kunal, my first question, therefore, will be: let's focus on two or three industries, two or three sectors, which, to my mind, would be more seriously impacted, and in the short term, not even in a longer term, but in a shorter term. IT, for instance, is being impacted profoundly. I would also like to know from you, how is it impacting hiring trends, for instance, and how is it impacting university courses designed for IT? These are very important questions. And after that, I would like to touch upon banking and finance, which also happen to be your forte. So, yes, let's start with IT. How do you see the exponential rise of AI beginning to seriously impact, socially, economically, professionally, technically, IT?
I'll give you some background to this, and then we'll address specifically to IT, and we can cover any other sector as you've highlighted. First of all, we should understand that this is happening in the background of last few decades to maybe at least a century of development, in which humans have been made relevant, or their relevance has evolved around their mental intelligence, around and their ability to solve problems, memorize things, process things, analyze things, break larger problem into smaller ones, solve them, and then integrate back to a larger solution. This has been most of the white collar human job in any sector. Wherever in the last 4 decades we've started sitting in front of a computer, data is already digital. We are essentially using a keyboard or a mouse to process, to write, to edit, to memorize, to plan, to do certain things, activities, which are highly mental and analytical in nature, right? Whether it's an IT job, which is essentially a job in which I tell you in English what I want and you write it in a programming language, from English to C++ or Java or Python or any programming language.
That's the programming bit.
That's a programming.
IT is more than programming.
Yes, IT is primarily programming, right?
Right.
Broadly, just at a very high level. Obviously, in details, there are a million ways to do it. If you think about somebody working in a bank, he or she is also doing very similar work, processing data, consuming data, giving outputs, creating reports, etc., finding insights, etc. Think about anybody doing a marketing job. He or she is again creatively trying to figure out who's their customer, through the data, what do they want, what are the patterns and trends telling us, how can we reach to them at the lowest cost, how can we convert them into a customer, how can we retain them as a customer. So you put out all the marketing tools, which could be content, which could be offers, which could be promotions, which could be new products, etc., etc.
Right.
So any such job in which you are sitting in front of a computer, a white collar job, so to say, whatever human intelligence we are able to process and execute and use to do our job is already being done by AI much faster, better, cheaper.
Already, AI is already
Today.
Yes.
The job still exists because there's a human inertia of adapting and migrating to the new way of doing things.
So let's pause for a while. Let me repeat what you just said. You said it's already happening. AI is already running these jobs, but we still have the humans retaining these jobs because of human inertia.
Correct.
Right? That's what you said.
Correct.
Well, that's a very important thing to say.
Yeah. So think about, let's say you work in a company like, let me give an example. Let's say you work in a company like Infosys.
Yeah.
Or TCS or Capgemini or Accenture or IBM. Many of these run broadly on a business called IT services, where they outsource human computer programming skills from a low cost country to a large cost country. So as an example, if I'm an American company, let's say I'm Coca-Cola, I want to make a marketing automation tool, or I want to make a software for CRM or X use case, sending emails to my clients, XYZ, whatever I need, or for logistics. I will very likely hire a company like TCS or Infosys. I will say it cost me about, let's say, $1 lakh a year to hire one engineer. I need 100 engineers, but I don't want to pay 1 lakh. In India, it costs you about $10,000 per year. So I'll pay you $20,000 or $30,000 a year per engineer. So you make some money as a company, TCS Infosys. Your engineer makes money and lives happily in India. And I pay much less than what I would have paid in US with all the HR overheads, etc. also.
Yeah.
So that's an arbitrage business where TCS Infosys are incentivized to have lakhs and lakhs of engineers, because more engineers they have, more margins they make. Now, suddenly, on any project for Coca-Cola, let's say there were 100 people working in one project. Now with AI, you likely need only 5.
Okay.
5 people will do with AI the same work 100 were doing 10 years ago or 5 years ago or even 3 years ago. Now suddenly,
That's quite obvious. Yeah.
so Coca-Cola will say, why am I paying you for 100 people? I'll only pay you for 5 plus one subscription of AI model, ChatGPT, Claude, whatever you're using. Now you're suddenly, instead of 100, you're paying for 5. You're asking, I'll pay for 5, take it or leave it. TCS will have to accept. Otherwise, whatever projects TCS is able to do with lakhs of people, some new startup can come and say, I'll do it with AI with fraction of people.
And same quality of work.
So, if not better. Lesser human involvement means lesser human errors. Right? Because AI...
So when AI codes, is it going to make less glitches? Are there going to be less glitches to correct?
Yeah.
And eventually what? No glitches? Because AI
Yes.
and no glitches I can easily connect.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes. It's just like, think about...
Eliminates human error completely.
Yes. But think about, I'll give you an example which happened a few decades ago. I believe in 70s or 80s, I remember watching some movies. When you would make a call, they would connect you from one wire to another.
Yes.
They would connect the wires. Remember, there were routing system. Humans were there.
PABX.
There were people who were essentially connectors.
Yes, yes.
And they were connecting wires to, okay, you want to speak with that person in that country or that place?
Right.
I'll connect you. Hold on. I'll connect you.
Right.
And there were errors at times. Yeah. At times they will misconnect you to someone else. Hi, are you speaking? No, sorry, wrong number. Okay, please connect me again. Right? Today, have you ever heard of a wrong number on mobile? Rarely, maybe 1 in a million times.
That's human error again. When you
Same thing.
dial in the wrong.
So this is an example which we've lived through. Computer has no incentive to do wrong. It just cannot do wrong because the programming makes it correct. Short-term glitches, I'm not talking about. It hallucinates at times, lack of resources. It has bunch of challenges which we're resolving. But as you're saying,
No
eventually,
coding glitches, no programming glitches.
eventually, as you are saying, assume none. Yes. So as an example, compare this to another use case. Think about humans driving cars, right? Humans drive cars. How many accidents happen? Let's say yeah. So they drive like how they drive, right? Everyone is different. If a human were to drive 1,000,000 miles on millions of miles, depending upon an average driver, if you take in any country, they'll have lots of accidents over a millions of miles, right? I mean, though they won't be able to drive as much, but if they were. So the Google Waymo, the company that developed the auto self-driving, their car drove for tens of millions of miles over a few years, and it only had 3 accidents.
I mean, real life.
Real life. This is real life. Last few years. I mean, I'm talking even before AI was.
Not in simulations.
No simulation. Live on the streets. Yes.
Oh.
Only 3 accidents over tens of millions of miles, and eventually these 3 would also go to zero. That's a hope. Why would you live with thousands of human accidents, so many lives lost, lakhs of people?
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So eventually, point I'm making, coming to any job in which you're sitting in front of a computer, which is hundreds of millions of jobs today. 90-95% of them will not exist in the same way in the next 5 years.
I mean, airplanes are being flown by computers,
Yes.
more or less.
More or less, yeah. Yes. And
Healthcare,
yeah.
so much of healthcare.
So think about, for a minute, I want to mention the positives when we get to the job.
Before you do that,
Yes.
all these other sector airlines we just
Every sector.
healthcare. So the back end is IT again, right?
So think about education, healthcare,
Yeah.
transportation, manufacturing, most missions, finance, banking. So in banks,
The back end is
Today-
IT and
so let's consider a bank in India where we live now, HDFC Bank. It may have tens of lakhs of people or lakhs of people. I don't know the exact number. Every year the bank grows its revenue and profitability by about 10%, give or take. 5 to 15% is the target. 10%, let's say they do. So for 10% growth every year, they have to at least hire 5% more resources, give or take. I'm giving rough numbers. But suddenly now, last year, they've stopped hiring. They don't need 5% more to increase their business because now they are bringing more efficiencies using the AI and technology and tools, which can happen with the current one. Now, and if you have to ask me, if let's say, assume for a minute, and it's an assumption, HDFC Bank has largest bank in India. Let's say it has 10 lakh people working for it. Let's assume. Today, if I have to build an HDFC Bank or a challenger to HDFC Bank to manage the same scale of business that HDFC Bank does with 10 lakh people, it may have taken it 40, 50 years to get here. It may have taken it X time and X number of resources to get here. I think I will be able to, with the help of AI, do it at 1/10 the time, 1/10 the cost, and 1/10 the number of resources, if not lower, which means 90% less.
Because why aren't people already doing this?
They are slowly, again, slow process, because, humans are not very fast to adapting and evolving. And this is a technology which is growing exponentially, and humans have not even caught up with what it did in 2022. Forget about what it's doing in 2026. And 2022 and 26, if 4 years of AI evolution and development, what I'm seeing, it is more than 100 years of human collective growth in terms of intelligence and ability to do things. It is just so surprising. Not surprising, almost anticipated, but it is really astonishing what it has been able to achieve. And it's a matter of time. It is happening. Every day it is happening. And the first signs are coming now. The IT companies last month, stock markets are starting to price this in, which is the first sign before it hits the economy. Stock markets are typically 6 months to 1 year ahead of the market, the real economy on the ground. They start pricing in things. So stock markets in India, as an example, have dropped the price of TCS, Infosys kind of companies by close to 15-20%.
In how much time?
Within a week.
Whoa.
This month, January 26.
That's pretty
15 to 20%. This is happening worldwide. In US, there are software companies. there's a business model called software as a service. So essentially software companies, which rent a software to many people, standard product service offering. Their stock values, I was watching today morning, they have dropped like 40% or so. Large companies, these are not only a few $100,000 companies, they are multi-million, multi-billion dollar companies. Their valuations are down in the last few months by at least 30 to 50%.
Last few months.
So
That's huge.
now what this means is the following. What this means and how it translates in the near term is the following. They will all have to fire people. If a company like that, so there's a company named HubSpot in US, which does some marketing tools for different corporates and customers. If their price has dropped 30 to 50%, means it's likely that in the next 3 to 6 months, they'll do lesser and lesser revenues. That's what stock market is pricing in, which means lesser revenue means they'll have to let go of people. So the 100% people doing work today will get to 5% in the next 5 or 10 or 15 years max.
What about hiring?
I think everyone is holding.
Impacting hiring trends.
It is. So look at a crazy stat. In India, every year 15 lakh engineers come out, graduate from engineering colleges. Unfortunate part,
That's
many
1.5 million.
1.5 million freshers, right, who have no experience. 5 years ago, I think less than 30-40% of them were getting placed in a job. 5 years ago, when there was no AI impact as such. Today, that number is less than 5 to 10%. 90% of them are not getting jobs. And next 5 years, it will be very hard for any of them to find any job.
Will there be courses still then? Will students still take up some courses?
I'll share a stat and a fact. I'll share something a friend told me. He runs one of the largest universities in North India, which has 50,000 plus people, students. He said they used to, 5 years ago, they used to say, 4 years ago, that come here and get a job. Come to this engineering college and we'll help you get a job. That was their tagline. I'm paraphrasing a little. Now they say, come here and get skills for life. They've stopped talking about jobs.
Yeah, that's a shift, huh?
So the shift is essentially people are coming for social skills for
Within a year or so.
within last 2 years. They've shifted.
So what are they now saying?
Come here and get skills for life or something like that. I don't know the exact
So what
words,
do they mean? Skills for life means what?
it doesn't matter what it means. As long as people don't question, as long as they're able to
There
sell.
must be something specific.
But I think to your point, in 10 years, would these universities exist? If you have to ask me, I would bet 90% of them would not, if not all 100. Only the ones that evolve and adapt. And this just doesn't apply to universities as a concept. In my view, in the next 10 years, if let's say let's talk about large businesses, which are at least $10 million or more, or $100 million or more. Out of all those large businesses that exist in the world, I think in the next 10 years, 90% of them would not exist.
It would not exist.
And only 10% that evolve, adapt and win. But this is going to be really ruthless because
Here, you're not
like these
IT anymore.
I'm talking beyond. Think about marketing company.
Across the board.
So think about a marketing company. Today, what does a marketing company do? I hire marketing agencies and I tell them, okay, I want to make a social media campaign. I want to make some video, product explainer, write a blog, do a social media, do a bunch of things. What I would tell them, they would hire people, they would have people who would intelligently work on it with their experience and learnings and tools, and then they would come up with some output, right? Now it's coming straight in an AI platform. I just tell them, I'm this company. This is what I want to do. Figure out the whole marketing strategy, plan, business, everything. It's giving me everything within minutes. I don't need to go to a person. I don't need an issue of tracking a person, headache of managing the person's emotions. And
an advertising campaign, let's say, planned, and you're saying executed entirely by AI. Would it need to be vetted by a human somewhere?
For a while, yes.
Down the line,
For a while, yes. That while is 1 year or 10 years, who knows? But yes, for a while, you need. But the point is, if the marketing agency had 50 people, now they can do with 5.
They'll cut it down.
They can do with 5. They can do with 10. Right?
That's logically right, yes. And so, it doesn't make sense if they don't, because you have to
so eventually
make your profit at the end of the day.
And this is where capitalism plays a good role. Capitalism will make sure that the prices are brought to the lowest. Competition will drive the prices down, and new entrants will use AI to do it cheaper, faster, better. Then you'll work with the new entrants. Why would you work with the expensive legacy firms at all? Think about consulting companies. So like McKinsey's and BCG's of the world, they look at your business, they look at your operations, they'll look at the market, they'll suggest marketing strategies, make business plans, make suggestions, right? AI does it in minutes. Brilliant suggestions. You don't have to pay $1,000 an hour to a McKinsey consultant today. Yes, those guys are also not hiring. They're also letting go of a lot of people.
What is the trust factor like? I mean, how many people would trust AI with such a crucial job that you're giving to well-established, well-known company?
So there are 2-3 ways to answer this. Let me try the first one. Number one, think about people not being on internet with any data 30 years ago, 40 years ago. In 80s, 90s, there was no data on internet, right? Suddenly now all your life is on internet. You've shared all your books, all your data, all your thoughts in blogs, videos, podcasts, conversations on internet.
Right.
30 years ago, somebody would have asked, why are you putting it on a computer? Who's going to use it? What's the trust? What if it gets misused? What if it gets stolen? Blah, blah, blah. Things would have happened 30 years ago. 90s, people didn't trust the internet. Today, nobody can live without internet, right?
Yes.
Virtually. It's so penetrated in our life. So that's an example you can think about. Second, you and I may question this trust thing up to a point. Some older people will question this up to a point. But think about the younger people. They're born with this. They're born in this.
Yes.
They don't question this. They are like day one. Their life is social media. On their social media,
It's almost as if I see kids, before they've even learned to speak the language.
they know how to scroll on iPad. Yeah. Yes. Yes.
And that's
So
amazing, really.
So these kids are today evening not talking to their parents that am I eating, to take an Indian example, a dal or a sabzi or what, roti or chawal. They are asking an AI, should I order from Zomato or Swiggy and should I eat a pizza or a burger? They are AI first generation, right? The youngsters today. They cannot imagine a life without AI. For them, they are completely dependent on AI. It brings the dark side later if you want to go there. It has problems, but they don't have a question of trust. They would rather trust an AI more today, unfortunately, than they would trust their parents. So this is a new generation which is coming and adopting these things, right?
I'm aware.
This is Gen Z, this is millennials, this is, I mean, I might be mixing up too many decades of people being born, but that's how they operate. That's a reality, right? So, and many of them, and now look at the slightly lesser intelligent people who are even on Facebook or social media or Instagram, they would have their home address, phone number, Aadhaar card, PAN card, passport, everything. They just put their thinking, oh, I should put it there because they ask for it. And now they are the ones whose identity gets stolen. They are the ones who struggle and things happen, right? But some people don't even understand the trust issue or that they should not be putting everything out there unless they have to. So the trust issue among the youngsters today, the millennials onwards, it's not an issue. They are okay with it.
So I also heard you saying just now that this is happening across the board.
Yes. So let me make a.
So not just IT and not
Yes.
just programming now.
Any job in which you're sitting in front of a computer, what are you doing? You're using your brain and doing a job, right? Many jobs are like that, white collar jobs.
Now, teaching, for instance, teaching in a school, you're not sitting, you're not sitting for a computer, but then this is impacting teaching as well.
Yeah. So
Because students don't go to human teachers now for information.
So let me-
much more available on the net and through AI and packaged so much more intelligently and interestingly.
So let me bring 2-3 perspectives on this. Number one, a human teacher in any country like India or US, in the whole education system is, for the lack of a better word, not good. And you know this better than I do, how the education system and the teachers are today, right? Number one. Number two, number of teachers per pupil, per student is very low. So in a classic Indian government school, you will have, or even private schools, as an example, you'll have one teacher for 5 subjects, 400 kids or 50 kids, give or take. 50 kids is normal.
Yeah, the better schools have reduced the numbers per classroom, but yes, I know what you're saying.
Still, right? So the teachers today are not as helpful and as meaningful, and the process is not as customized to every individual as it ought to be, etc., etc.
Yeah,
right?
it was really.
It has its challenges, right? But now this is on the bright side. in some sense. Every student can learn anything they are interested in a more engaging fashion through AI in a customized learning format that they need. So everyone, so as an example, if let's say in India, I'm making up numbers, there are 1 crore students entering primary school every year. I'm making up a number, I'm assuming it's broadly okay, plus minus a bit. And there are only few thousands of teachers or tens of thousands of teachers for them, or few lakh teachers max, right? Suddenly now for 1 crore students, if you can have a customized learning app, an AI driven platform, which is more engaging, more fun, and deals with the curiosity of the student. What do you want to learn? Why do I have to learn about things I don't care about? That's where the school gets boring, right? Now suddenly I can then develop my interest, grow into that, and curiosity can drive me into learning.
This is happening in education.
This is happening, right? So that ways, yeah.
An intelligent or a slightly above average intelligence student, a student with above average intelligence, is learning directly from AI, doing his or her research with AI, and AI is helping the student to process that information, to apply that information.
So yes, so such jobs will also become questionable. They are already questionable, but they may eventually at some point disappear. But I'm looking at the bright side for a minute. For schooling, for customized learning, for healthcare. Again, you have
healthcare.
few doctors per million citizens in any country, give or take, right? Suddenly, if you can have in 5 to 10 years an endless 24/7 doctor.ai available to you, would that not be good? At a fraction of a cost.
Would that be safe?
Eventually, yes. So short term, yes, you have to deal through. So it's like we've regulated so many industries.
It's already, I know of so many people who use AI regularly
Yes.
to check their prescriptions, to get a second opinion, to even have AI recommend the right medication.
You're right.
Doses for them.
This is happening.
It's already happening.
This is happening.
And the doctors don't like it too much.
Correct.
What can you do?
And the thing is, if I'm, let's say, living in a tier 3 city or a village where I have only one hospital, which is 20 miles away from my house, would I rather not look at my symptoms, have my iPhone check bunch of things it can through the heartbeat and bunch of things it can, and suggest
Which
to
is
me?
why I was asking, is it safe enough?
So
Is that a good thing? I'm not sure. Not yet. I mean, you know.
So eventually, yes, short term, we assume there would be ample regulation now. It's just like any new medicine comes out or any industry. So we've humans as a whole, humanity as a whole, over time, over decades and centuries, last few talking about, have regulated finance, they have regulated healthcare, they have regulated,
Right.
well or badly, but they've regulated education system. They've regulated so many industries which could have been harmful otherwise. So we have a protocol for this. We can make it safe enough. We can try to do it better, and it's with lesser human intervention. It is likely to be better if it is operated within the right frameworks, and we need to regulate the AI, the big tech companies like Apple iPhone or Android phones or whatnot. But it's doable for sure. That is, to me.
Though AI, I know, I mean, if it prescribes any medication to you, it also tells you very clearly that
The rest
to
and
consult your doctor.
Yeah. So far it does, but eventually your doctor would be an AI for sure. You're not gonna, I mean, because to become a doctor, there's a good 5, 10, 15-year process. And there are only so many you can produce, and they can only handle so many patients, and they will only do so many correct versus wrong diagnoses, right? They will only do so much. But today, you take a CT scan, a radiology report, anything, just put it on ChatGPT, it gives you everything. Put it on Claude, it gives you everything. So you're getting great analysis done, and it explains you better than any any doctor will, right?
It compares and analyzes very well, and then it suggests.
And then you can double check, you can cross
You
check.
can go to a doctor.
So,
Banking, financial banking. What's happening there now?
so look,
Because that's another very critical area, and something that you can't just take a chance with.
so there are two, 3 things to think about. Number one is that banking today has become more and more digital than not.
Yes, it's
Today,
completely
today rarely you would see, very less and less you will see some possibly older people going into a branch, a bank's office. Otherwise, if you see in some of the developed countries, there is virtually nobody there. There is no branch. There's just an ATM machine where you interact with the machine or you do it on your mobile app. So number one, and behind the scenes also, most of the processes are digitized, so they don't need as many people. Right? So that is happening. Number one, it's going digital. It's been happening for the last few decades. Number two, with AI, they will need lesser and lesser people. Again, if they have 100 people doing X work, they will need 5 or 10 in the future to do the same amount of work.
So again, in the same way, it's going to impact hiring trends.
Hiring trends, jobs.
And
Yes.
if it affects hiring, then sooner or later it's going to affect the courses.
Of course.
The
indeed.
university.
So it's happening. It's happening today.
Professional training.
Yes, yes. So today, I think the two most overdone education courses in India are engineering and MBA.
Right.
I think, thinking from some lens and perspective, I think
engineering too was there.
engineering and MBA, or either or both. I think both of them are as obsolete as it comes today. Today, if anybody asks me, should I send my kid to which engineering school or which MBA college, I just say, don't send them. Whatever 10, 20, 50 lakh rupees you're going to spend on their education over the next 2 to 4 years, keep that money, spend it wisely, learn something of real value, and be ready for the AI future. Because you're not going to get a job just as a fresher in 2 to 4 years from now. It'll be very hard. It's hard today. It was hard 2 years ago. It's very hard today. Virtually impossible in the next few years. So coming back to the banking part, same issue. A lot of jobs are slowing, not happening. And slowly as the adoption happens, as the competition drives this, share prices drop, more firings happen. I think eventually banks would be just digital virtual banks.
So tell me, since we're talking banking and finance, I have some money I want to invest. Should I listen to AI or should I listen to you?
So far, listen to both, because we do not...
The doctor and the AI.
So second opinion. So stick to a second opinion. Let's say if I say something to you, whatever I'm going to say, if you find it acceptable, go with it. If you don't, double check with AI. You'll get some...
Think of me as a non-expert.
Yeah, of course. Of course. So as a non-expert, you say, I want to invest 100. And let's say I tell you, and I'm making up a scenario, put 10 in gold, put 20 in bank FDs, put 20 in foreign currencies outside of India, just to diversify your wealth over time. Put 20 in real estate, put 10 in some bonds, keep 10 cash handy with you, blah, blah, blah. I'm making up a portfolio wealth management suggestions to you, right? And I'm saying this with a 5-10 year view that in 5 to 10 years, the money itself may be in question, because money at the end is a means to an end. All governments have overprinted. Which currency inflates, deflates, goes to zero, nobody knows. US government will default on their debt at some point in the next 10 years or 15 years, for sure. They are...
Wait a minute.
Sorry.
You're saying the US economy will default?
US government will not...
US government.
They will not pay back their loans that they borrowed in form of government bonds.
That will happen, you're saying?
That is very likely to happen.
That's a serious thing to say.
Yeah, I mean, many people who understand the system have acknowledged this.
I've heard this from...
Yeah, I see it happening.
People are writing about it now. And what about the other currency that's being built up in our part of the country to replace the dollar?
I think that's why I said keep some gold.
Keep some gold.
Because it has survived thousands of years in some way, right? One. Second, the biggest thing I think one should have, and if you have to think about your near dear ones or anybody who looks up to you for influence and suggestions, you should be able to live with a minimalistic lifestyle and accept that because of AI and the job changes, there may be at some point, some economies will crash, some countries will have social disorders, because government is no government in the world, and I mean no government, is able to keep up with the pace of exponential growth of AI and its impacts on the society. One day, if you have 20-30% people earning and paying taxes, taking care of the rest 70 in the welfare schemes, world works. Suddenly, if that 20-30% people come to 2 or 3% who are earning, so suddenly the social order changes.
The social order, this is something that many more people are talking about again now than they ever did before.
Yeah.
Numbers are increasing.
Yeah. But
so, experts in the field are talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
Some of the most respected names in this
Yes.
field are saying the same thing, that we are looking at a social upheaval.
Yes. Yeah.
Some even say social collapse, and
Yeah.
or collapse of the social order as we know it.
Yes.
So, what do you think about that? I mean, are we looking at a doomsday scenario? Oh,
It's a so number one, I completely see that. I'm in
you see
that
that
camp.
completely.
I can see it play through in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. X time. Time is a question. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And it is a reasonably likely outcome. I wish it doesn't happen. I hope I'm wrong. I hope everyone who's thinking this is wrong.
Suppose we remove wish and hope.
Yeah.
Talk more
Logically.
practically, logically, realistically.
No.
What are the options? I mean, again, we have discussed this before. AI does not necessarily have to be the train hurtling towards you at the end of the tunnel. You know,
AI, so this is not a scenario in which AI makes human society collapse. This is a scenario where human systems, AI just triggers, AI just yes. So it's the social, government, capitalistic combination of complex system, money order that we've built and we've gotten used to.
So, Kunal, if I say that if there's going to be a collapse, it's not going to be because of AI, it's going to be because of the contradictions inherent in our systems. And AI is only going to make that happen.
Yes.
Absolutely. Catalyze.
So there are 3 scenarios, broadly put. Number one, 4 scenarios. Number one, AI slowly grows, humans grow, everything is happy, humans in time adapt, things go on, life becomes simpler, better, all good. Best case scenario. Number 2, AI brings out the problems in the systems that we've created, the society, the money, the government welfare, the capitalism, bunch of things which are not sustainable for sure. We see it today. I mean, you cannot have 2% people owning more than 98% of the wealth of the world. It is just wrong.
It doesn't work.
Fundamentally wrong. So AI is just ensuring that, that disparity is amplified enough for people to act or react.
This is what I have called the inevitable implosion of
right?
capitalism.
So that's the human systems breaking because of AI amplifying the black holes, the dark spots.
I would say the fault lines are already there.
Yeah.
And the AI is causing that tremor.
Yes.
Is going to work on the fault lines.
Yeah. Now, there's a third scenario in which that people have talked about, where the Terminator world, where AI kills off humans or breaks a society or manipulates the humans into a disorder or into a doomsday scenario.
That's very likely.
That's
one of the.
That is the third. So what I'm saying is, what I see most obvious is not a happy evolution of humans and AI together. I don't see that. Just because the problems, the fault lines are there, it's apparent. Many people choose not to see it.
Of alignment.
Exactly. And in second, the system will itself break. The earth cannot sustain 8 billion humans and 100 billion cattle for them, and so many of them not working.
And as we know it today is not sustainable.
Exactly. So it's got no consciousness, no, inclusivity, not enough inclusivity and all that, right? So that is the most likely outcome I see.
Right.
I'm less worried as yet about
the fourth option you were talking about.
The fourth was where AI takes us to nirvana, where we are like, the superhumans and not superhumans, sorry, where we move into a world where AI does everything for us and obeys to the humans, and humans can just enjoy life and don't have to do something, and they just chill. So that was the fourth one. Utopian. That leads to a utopia. So this is a reasonably likely scenario that a social disorder happens in the short term. Medium, long term, it'll play out again.
Even if not a social collapse, disorder, disequilibrium, and I'd like to talk more about this in our next meeting. But for this afternoon, a last question for you, Kunal. Kunal, as a person who works in trading, algo trading, and deals with numbers and investments, how do you personally feel about AI taking away your job? Is that a possibility?
Yes, I believe it is possible. Maybe few years from now, hopefully. B, I'm fairly comfortable with the process of the universe evolving, however it evolves. So I'm not necessarily too personally involved with having a job or not having a job. So I'm less bothered personally, so to say. Secondly, I think there are enough things I want to do beyond my job also. There are more things I have to explore in life, and I'm not talking about just traveling.
So that part of you actually wants AI to take over.
So that part of me says, let AI do the day-to-day stuff. Let me figure myself out. Let me follow some other process and journey and path.
That I call the evolutionary possibility.
Yes. Yes.
Great. I think that's a good note to hit.
Sure.
And yeah, I'm looking forward to our next conversation where I want to go a bit deeper with this whole question of social disequilibrium and the what I call the inevitable implosion and what AI has to do with that.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Partho.